So this is mouthwash.
Yes.
Good or bad for me?
I would say overall bad. If you have no problems, you shouldn't be needing to use mouthwash.
All right, guys, I bring you back another video. I want you to take a look at this, okay? Again, from the Diary of the CEO. Great YouTube channel, man. This guy brings phenomenal guests, and I want you to see what they talk about. This lady, you know, she's a dentist, but she decided to conduct some form of, research on oral microbiome. Basically, she looks into all the bacteria, all the germs that are in our mouths, right? The good, the bad. We have over 700, I guess, bacterias probably, and so it's a lot. But what she wants to talk about, and she talks about a lot of things, but I want you to see some of the products that you use, mouthwashes and stuff like that. What's good, what's bad, and this and that. So let's get into that. I'll bring you another one. Very powerful presentation.
Is there any time where I shouldn't brush my teeth?
You should never brush straight after anything acidic or sugary. So what you end up doing is grinding the sugar or the acid into your teeth. So actually, you should wait 30 minutes until you brush your teeth.
That's interesting because when I eat something sugary, I feel like I need to brush my teeth.
So basically, they're saying, she's advising as a dentist, she's saying after you have something sugary, don't brush. At least give yourself about 30 minutes before you brush your teeth. It's very important to keep your oral hygiene in place, okay? Because like she explained, you're grinding all that sugar stuff, with the toothpaste that you're going to be using, and that's not good for the health of your teeth. So let's listen in on this, guys. Let's listen.
My teeth to get rid of it.
Yeah, no. So you want to wait 30 minutes. So instead, you can chew some sugar-free gum, or there are lots of pastels that we use. So like I use like chewable mints. And you can chew one of those and it will actually neutralize your saliva really quickly so that you don't have that acid causing the demineralization.
Okay. So she mentioned sugar and acid, anything sugary and acid products. Basically, stay away from those. If you do, make sure you don't brush your teeth at least 30 minutes later, or you can use sugar-free gums to balance out the microbiome in your mouth. Basically, your saliva, your spit and all of that, right? Let's listen in on this, guys. Very important.
Okay, so it's because of the sort of change in acidity in my mouth that's going to impact my teeth. I've got loads of products here that I got from a pharmacy and from Boots and from other places in the UK. I wanted your advice on what kind of products I should be using to promote good oral health. So this is mouthwash.
Yes.
Good or bad for me?
I would say overall bad. If you have no problems, you shouldn't be needing to use mouthwash.
Wow. I didn't know that. I mean, we all use mouthwash one way or the other, especially for those of us in the diaspora, right? I mean, for our brothers and sisters back home, the ones that could not afford to buy a mouthwash, they don't know what we're talking about. But I didn't know it's bad to use mouthwash. She's saying that if you don't have any problems, you shouldn't be using them. So let's see why should you use a mouthwash? Let's see. This is strange to me, but again, she's a professional. She has done a lot of research on this, and so she knows what she's talking about. Let's take her for a word. Let's listen in.
Mouthwash actually will kill everything in your mouth, and sometimes that can imbalance your microbiome even more. So I would only be using mouthwash either as I call it like a cologne. So I don't know, you just had a lot of garlic and you're about to go on a date, fine, have some mouthwash, that's okay. But it shouldn't be a regular occurrence.
Wow.
Or it should be prescribed by your dentist.
Wow, I did not know that. I mean, shucks. I mean, we all know mouthwash is the first thing we use in the morning anyways. We brush our teeth, we're ready to go to work, we use a mouthwash. So, I mean, this is really, really strange to me. Now I see why sometimes I personally don't want to use a mouthwash, so, and I'm very conscious about my teeth, like, the enamel on my teeth and all of that to keep it protected, because the enamel is the coating that's on top of your teeth, but people don't know that, so, wow. So she's saying that if you have something garlicky and you just want to balance out, your breath, onions and stuff like that. So that would be the only time to use it. But she's saying we should not be using mouthwash like that. Again, she's the professional.
Or through an oral microbiome test. So we see what bacteria you have high levels of, and we tell you exactly what mouthwash to use based on that to kill only those bacteria.
So she's saying that it's best to go see a dentist and they can do a test of your microbiome. So basically what they'll do is take a sample of your spit, and then they'll do a test and they can tell you based on the bacteria that are present in your mouth, they will tell you what kind of mouthwash you should be using. I did not know that. But man, listen, this is beautiful stuff, man.
Chewing gum,
Yep, sugar-free.
good for me, bad for me?
Good
If
for you.
sugar-free, yeah.
If it's sugar-free, love it. Like xylitol, sort of chewing gum, fantastic. Particularly after a meal, increases your saliva.
Now,
Wow. So sugarless, right? Chewing gum is good for you. That's what she's saying here. So after a meal of some sort, you go with a sugar-free gum. Boom, it's good. I really didn't know that either, but you know, it is what it is. But I don't do gums as much anyway, so you know. But if you are somebody who does gum, she's recommending that you go for sugar-free gums. All right, let's listen in.
I believe you brought this collection of stuff.
I did.
And what is this collection of stuff? I'm actually going to slide it over to you so you can
Okay.
explain to me what it is.
Right. So this is not for everyone, but these are kind of things that I do really like. So we were talking about having a sugar attack. So
Yeah.
for you, with all your genetic mutations, you should have one of these. So,
Don't make it personal. Come on.
so this is really good for someone if you have sugar.
Yeah.
You pop one of these mints in. It's got green tea, it's got xylitol, and it helps to neutralize the saliva, and it's also naturally antibacterial. So it will basically get your saliva back to a good state. So if I have a sweet treat, I'll pop one of these in my mouth straight after, and it just helps reduce my chances of decay afterwards.
Okay, let me have a look at that brand. Okay, I'll link all of these products below. So this is the first one you mentioned. Just gonna open it and see what it looks like inside.
Okay, I'll share the link with you, but at the same time, it's best if you go, you know, to the website, the YouTube channel of the Diary of a CEO. But I'll try to link the description below as well, so you can see these products. But this, I mean, they're in the UK anyway, so they're not in the United States. So I don't know how that works, but maybe you can find something if you're living in the United States or any other, you know, a country. But they're from the UK, so you know, my folks in the United Kingdom, hey, Kashi, this is for you, man. You might be able to find something if you're looking for that. Anyways, listen to this.
Side.
And try one.
Oh, it's just a mint.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're actually really yummy.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Dr. Hess. Cool.
And that was actually made by a university. So for some reason, I kind of like it more because it's like university based and, you know, and they've done a lot of studies on it too.
Okay.
Okay.
Then next up is, I'm going to save those for later, floss. We should all be flossing. So 30% of bacteria is actually found in between the teeth. And gum disease starts in between the teeth. So if you're not flossing, you're only doing 70% of the job. What floss you use is up to you. Some people will also use interdental brushes instead. It's, you know, your hygienist or your dentist should be the best one to tell you what. This is personally my favorite floss. Reason being is it's got prebiotics in it. So this is like food for good bacteria. It's got hydroxyapatite, so that's a really good mineralizing agent. So it strengthens in between your teeth.
Okay.
And it tastes of cocoa butter. So it actually tastes nice. It's quite thick. So it means that when you slide it inside in between your teeth, it gets rid of all the bacteria really well.
I sometimes, you know, from doing this podcast for quite a long time, I wonder why we need to do any of this stuff. Because as we said earlier, I just reflect on my ancestors. I was born in Botswana.
Okay. So it's about to switch now, the game. Okay. So, I mean, we're living in recent times, right? In this 21st century. So our ancestors didn't have all of these products, but they survived. That's what he's about to ask. But before we even go there, I mean, I hope this helps, you know, as far as you understanding your microbiome, what it is in your mouth, your oral microbiome. You know, you have your gut microbiome. You know, this is all the germs and bacteria that is found in your gut. But she's talking specifically about your mouth, you know, all the germs and the, you know, the stuff that is in your mouth, the good ones, the bad ones, the mix. It's called the microbiome, basically, your spit, you know, and what it's made off of. So that's what she's going through over here. So, like I said, we'll link the, if you want to see, you know, the products that she is talking about here. I mean, in a nutshell, sugar-free gums, I think that's the way to go. She's saying don't use too much mouthwash, only occasionally here and there. If you just want to change, maybe after you've had some garlic or you've had some onions, you just want to change the smell. You know, you could use a mouthwash, but it's not something to use every day. You know, so it's good to know these little things, and I wanted to share that with you. But let's listen to what he has to say, Stephen Bartlett, about the fact that our ancestors survived without all of these products, right? So hey, what are we doing? Let's listen. Let's listen in.
My mother's Nigerian, so I'm half Nigerian, and I just think out like, in Nigeria, some of my ancestors had really remarkable teeth, and they didn't do any of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is that we have so many more risk factors now in our lifestyles that mean that we kind of have to do these things to protect the teeth.
We have an unnatural life, so we need to do unnatural things.
Yeah. So I always compare it to sunscreen. So, you know, centuries ago, we didn't use sunscreen. We didn't get sunburn or anything like that. But also because of we were smarter with how we were. We wouldn't sit outside on the beach for 12 hours in olive oil. But also global warming has changed things. So now we have to all wear SPF and change the way that we are to reduce our chance of problems.
That makes
What about
sense.
that toothpaste? Is that toothpaste?
Yes.
Okay, what's that?
So these are a few different toothpastes. This one is also actually made by a university, by my university.
What's that called?
Biomin.
Yeah.
The reason I like Biomin
Well, for the folks that are in the United Kingdom, I guess it's Biomin. So if you want to look it up, then go look up Biomin so you can have a toothpaste. That's what she's saying. The university that she, I guess, lectures at, you know, is where they are making that toothpaste. So let's listen in on this, because we didn't talk much about toothpaste or anything other than mouthwash, you know, sugar-free gums, and let's listen in on the toothpaste part.
is
But even before we go into the toothpaste, I liked how she explained, you know, the fact that back in the day, ancestors did not have all these other kinds of products, you know, like the processed food and all the stuff. Everything was natural, you know. But today, most of everybody is using, you know, eating processed foods that have been in preservatives and stuff like that. So different times calls for different measures. Basically, that's what it is. So even if you don't want to use all this product, back in the day, our ancestors did not have to do that because everything was pretty natural. But now, with the way things are, you have to protect yourself. And so they have to come up with all of these. So let's listen in on the toothpaste. I'm sure she would have something very sensible to talk about on toothpaste. Let's listen.
because it is very, very good for sensitivity. It's very strengthening on the teeth. So it uses this very unique method of action. So it actually delivers calcium, phosphate, and also fluoride as well. A lot of people, I would say at the moment, are quite worried about fluoride and whether or not it's good or bad for you. And what is quite beautiful about Biomin is that it's got a little bit of fluoride in it, enough to strengthen the teeth, but not too much. So a normal toothpaste would have about 2,800 parts per millimeter of fluoride. And this toothpaste has 400. So it's got very little, but because of the method of action, it's able to have the same effect as a high fluoride toothpaste, but with much less fluoride. So this is good for someone who's a bit on the fence. They're hearing a lot online. They don't know what they want to do. They've heard fluoride's good for them.
Okay.
But they've also heard that fluoride's bad for them. So this is the perfect one.
This off-the-shelf toothpaste that I've got here has 3 to 4 times that much fluoride in it.
Yes.
4 times more fluoride than the one you've got there,
Yes.
which is a lot. Wow.
Yeah. And that's a normal toothpaste. And it's, I'm not anti-fluoride at all. But I think that a lot
That's good to know.
of listeners out there can go to a shop and get a toothpaste which has fluoride in it. A lot of people don't know about the alternative options, which are still safe and good for their teeth if they don't want to go for the fluoride options.
Okay.
And you said,
I mean, you probably have a question like, okay, how do I know what's best for me and this and that? So I would say consult your dentist, right? If you have access to a dentist. For our brothers and sisters in Africa, if you have access to a dentist, if you can afford one, fine. But, I know what it is. So there's different types of toothpaste that you could use. Like me, I use a special kind of toothpaste, but of course I don't want to talk about it here because it's prescribed. The toothpaste that I use is actually prescribed by my dentist. It's special, it's different. You cannot buy it over the counter, so it's totally different. So I get it. But if you could, there's a difference with too much fluoride and not so much fluoride. So, but again, who would be the professional? A dentist would be your best bet to talk to about this and find out more about it. Let's listen in.
that I should brush my teeth first thing in the morning and last thing before I go to bed.
Yes.
Okay. Just because that's the sort of biggest window, I guess. That's the best way to.
Yeah, the most important time to brush your teeth is right before you go to bed, because you spend 2 minutes spreading all this lovely goodness on your teeth. And then when you go to sleep, going back to saliva, when you sleep, your saliva flow reduces massively. So all of a sudden, these bacteria are left to their own devices. And if you don't have good toothpaste there, then they can cause a lot of problems.
And do I-
That's good. And so I would take it for a lot of you, if you're watching this, I'm sure you brush your teeth before you go to bed. If you don't, you should be doing that. especially if you have kids as well, because they have all these candies and all that stuff and this and that. So it's best to brush before they go to bed. And like, again, my toothpaste that I use, when I brush at night before I go to bed, I shouldn't really rinse it. I should just spit it out, you know, because I have two types of toothpaste that I use, but that's personal, right? So everybody's different. But the one that I use before I go to bed, I should just brush and spit and not even rinse it. Because so it helps me overnight whilst I'm sleeping. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I just feel my breath is so, it's just like, you know, just fresh because of the type of toothpaste that I use. So, you know, but let's listen in on this.
Spit, or do I rinse after I've brushed my teeth?
Matter of fact,
So you should never rinse your mouth out with water after you brush your teeth. So brush, spit into the basin, and that's it. Reason being, again, going back to my sunscreen analogy.
Maybe you didn't hear that. She's saying that the best thing to do is brush, spit, don't use water. But I see a lot of people using water anyways, right? They brush and use all this water, you know, and spit it out, right? So, but dentist, a professional, she's saying brush, and spit. Don't wash. Don't use water. Listen in.
Imagine you spend 2 minutes putting all this lovely sunscreen all over your skin to then just go and have a shower right before you go into the sun. So with the toothpaste, you spend 2 minutes putting all of that on your teeth. And then if you rinse it, then you're actually removing all of that goodness from your teeth and gums. And it's kind of like you haven't done anything.
Wow. I'll leave this one right here, guys. But I think, if anything, I'm sure you've learned something from this. Consult with your dentist and get more information. But again, Diary of a CEO, powerful, very powerful podcast, man. This guy is doing phenomenal. I came by it and I feel like there's so much information there that you guys have to see. And I actually saw this channel when this guy was probably like 600,000 subscribers. And the next time I checked, he's at 8 million subscribers. So he's doing phenomenal work. And you got to go through his channel and see what I'm talking about. But so much sensitive information that you can use. All right. So until next time, I'll let you have a good one, and bye-bye. Make sure you like and share, all right? So somebody else could benefit from information like this. Bye-bye.